to start the game, and off we go. Gukesh opens with knight f3, knight f6 by Caruana, and the pawn goes to b3. This line with b3 is gaining a lot of popularity. We've seen Pragnananda play it a lot at the Grand Chess Tour, and now c5, pawn comes up to e3, g6 played by Fabi. And putting the bishop here has its pros, but the con here is that Gukesh can break in the center and get more center control with his central clump of pawns. Black castles, white also castles here. Knight comes out on c6. And Gukesh now pushes his pawn to d3. Rook b8. This is a new move, actually hasn't been played before, but very logical to go a6, b5 in such positions. There you see a6 on the board. If b5 comes in, that would be good for black. So a4, Gukesh tries to stop it. b6 played here by Caruana to put the bishop on this long diagonal. Queen d2. Gukesh puts his queen maybe slightly on a shaky square. By the way, bishop b7 was better. The bishop here on f5, maybe not the best. Queen d7 very quickly played. And now Gukesh has this very nice move, knight d5. And he finds it instantly. That's absolutely amazing. The point of it is that after takes, by the way, bishop goes back, but takes, if queen had taken, e4 is very powerful, which is the reason why he goes back, bishop e6, and Gukesh takes here. Taking with the bishop is better, but he takes with the pawn. And the reason why this is a shaky move is because Gukesh can go bishop c3 with the idea of queen b2 attacking here. Now Fabi has to be very careful. I think knight e5 instantly makes a lot of sense, but he is a bit slow. He plays a5 in order to plonk the knight here, but instantly Gukesh creates a threat on f6. You can't push as your bishop would hang. He goes queen e7 in order to defend here. But now knight d2, a brilliant move, going knight e4 to attack. You have to stop it with bishop f5, I believe. But knight e5, now this is a big mistake. Fabi not in his element at all. d4 is coming in and Gukesh finds it. Pawn takes pawn, pawn takes pawn. This is well defended. The knight has to go back. And now there is a lot of pressure because d5 is coming in. I love this move, rook e1. Just posing the rook opposite the black queen. Caruana pushes his pawn to h5. Well, it's tough now because d5 and g4 were threatened, so at least he stopped that. d5, bishop goes up, bishop d3, and Gukesh, look at that. The pawn structure of black is completely ruined. Queen c2 now attacking this pawn. Okay, you have a great position against Fabi, but you have to finish him off. It's a very important. Rook e3, I love this move. Rook f3 threatened to take the f5 pawn. Knight jumps into e5, at least blocking this, maybe hoping that he can pick up the pawn on c4. And Gukesh is actually thinking about taking the knight. Oh my god. He straightens up black structure, but rook f3 threatens to win this pawn. It's a clear-cut attack there. Queen d4 attacks the rook in the corner of the board. And now rook d1. I love this move because if you save the pawn, knight e4 traps the queen. And so he goes e4, rook takes pawn. He's pawn up, now threatening to win another pawn here. Rook e8, just trying to defend the pawn. Do you go and win this pawn? But maybe there is this beautiful maneuver, knight f1, knight e3, attacking the queen and also defending the pawn. And Gukesh finds it. Knight f1 on the board. And time-wise, Gukesh has maintained a 2-minute lead on the clock. He has 5 minutes. Fabi down to 2 minutes, 36 seconds. Queen c5 played. And now a very good move is knight e3 perhaps. Yes, he brings his knight into the game. The queen drops back to d6. And is it time to snatch this pawn? Yes, Gukesh takes it. Queen g6 played by Caruana. 2 pawns for Gukesh. And now he brings his queen to e2 to defend here. Rook c8, putting the rook on a better square. Black's compensation lies with f5, f4, but look at this pawn running ahead, threatening d7. Rook d8, trying to stop the pawn here. And where is Gukesh going to play next? These are the moments where you have to be calm, collected. Look at Fabi, he's totally focused, pushes the pawn to d7. And of course this rook has to be protected, rook e6. And I love this move, rook d5. Defending the pawn on d7, bishop comes to e5. And maybe this knight can do really well on the c4 square if the move c5 is played here. But it's a tough move. It's a tough move. c5, b takes c5. He first goes h4 in order to threaten h5. Also taking away all back rank problems. f5 played here. Nice move by Fabi. He's hoping for f4 to come in. And for now, he's just stopped all of White's ideas. Gukesh needs to think of something. He's already down to 3 minutes on the clock and needs to be careful about his time. You can see that Gukesh completely zoning in. There are a few options that he can play here. He goes c5. He finds the best move. Epic chess. If you take here, knight c4, f4 played by Fabi. And, well, can you go c6? That's a very crazy move. c6. If rook takes c6, there's rook e5. Otherwise, I have c6. Takes the knight, takes the bishop, and then c7, and these two pawns would be extremely strong. Goes h5 first, attacks the queen. A great move, by the way, by Gukesh. The queen has to move, but where exactly? There's no square on f5, the knight is there. You could go to g5, but then the knight jumps to g4 and the bishop is pinned. So goes to f7. And now knight c4 or knight g4, that's a question. Also, have to be careful about f3 coming in. And Gukesh, 2 minutes 53 seconds. Caruana, 1 minute 31, goes knight g4. Bishop goes back to c7. And there's no fork here, by the way, because the rook is controlling that square. He takes on b6. Fabi takes back. Bishop takes. And now can we go rook d6 to trade off this very important rook? Because after rook d6, you take, I take. There's no time to take the pawn. There is knight h6 check, winning the queen. Gukesh being very sure and certain about moves like e3, f3. These could create potential problems. Rook d6 found. King goes to f8. And now do you take here? Oh, another beautiful move, attacking the bishop and threatening queen h8 check. Caruana with 1 minute 27 seconds has to work this out. b6 is hanging, queen h8. Oh my god, this is just totally lost. And Fabi just trying to see if there's any way to salvage the position. He goes bishop c7. And now accuracy is important to finish this off. Rook takes e6, queen takes e6, queen h8 check. If queen g8, I have queen f6 check, and that should be good. But let's say rook e6, queen e6 check, king e7 check here. It's not like the finish is inside. Queen f7, queen g5. He takes, queen takes. And Gukesh gives a check with the queen. You can block with the queen here. One of the ideas is to give a check, queen f7, and go to c6. When the bishop is completely trapped here, there's no way that you can save the bishop. It can't go here. Going back here makes very little sense. The h pawn can start rolling then. And Gukesh being careful here. King e7 played by Fabi. Queen g7 check. He blocks with the queen. Plays another check. There's no way Gukesh is going to trade the queens. King f8. And you can see the queen is looking at the rook, but the bishop is protecting it. And whenever some piece is overloaded with one responsibility, you can actually go in rook d6. What a move that would be. If bishop takes, queen d8, and then this pawn would queen. He plays knight e5 first. That's also a brilliant move. He's attacking this queen. You can't take here. As we just said, the rook is hanging. The queen has to move. You can't play queen e7. There's knight g6. He goes queen b3, attacking the rook here. And what is Gukesh going to do next? The strongest move is to bring the rook in. Knight, queen, and rook. will create a mating attack on this very exposed king on f6. And Gukesh has 1 minute 19 seconds to work things out. He plays it. Rook d6. Beautiful move with 56 seconds on the board. And with bishop d6, taking here is lost totally, because then white would just move the queen away and make another queen. And so Fabi needs to now defend against this. He's looking at some checks, but king on h2 is safe. He pushes e3. And now Gukesh sees the mate. Rook f6. It's checkmate in 2. And Fabiano Caruana resigns here. What a game here by Gukesh. Actually, Caruana was out of sorts out of the opening. He couldn't find his bearings. He made small inaccuracies and Gukesh latched onto it beautifully, especially with this opening move. Knight